for some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Kara's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Good morning, everyone. There is actually a crap ton of news from this weekend and all around. So hope you're ready for a lot of headlines. We do have some absurd stories and then, naming and shaming with Lord Chippy as always. But we've got a lot of actual headlines of things you might need to know. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. I spent most of mine kind of relaxing and organizing. So that was fun because I finally have some things organized, which used to be kind of a standard for me. So that is an actual great thing. Like I actually have things kind of going where they're supposed to go. In our top story, and again, you can go to many other different channels to get the pros, the cons, the, political idea about this. But as a headline, I figured it did deserve to go first. The last living hostages have all been released after 738 days being held by Hamas as the peace deal is taking hold. Now, again, I don't know enough to give y'all an opinion about this, but I think it's good to celebrate that people are free. Regardless, I think human life and people getting to go back to their families is a good thing. That's kind of my only opinion on it. If you want a deeper or more calculated look, there are other channels who have actually done research. I'm a redhead in pigtails. Like, don't come to me for geopolitical advice. They're all free. All living hostages in Gaza were released by Hamas Monday, with all 20 reportedly walking to the Red Cross trucks under their own power following the historic ceasefire deal forced by Donald Trump. Now, the first 7 hostages were returned to Israel around 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday after being transported out of Palestine by Red Cross trucks. Fair point. Well, that's good. And good morning, Shirley. Now, emotional scenes have emerged as hostages spoke to family members for the first time in 738 days. Twin brothers, Gali and Ziv Berman, who were kept apart for 2 years, embraced as they were finally reunited, and mothers and fathers sobbed as they saw their sons for the first time in video calls. In-person reunions are expected later on today. They probably have to go through medical checks and stuff like that. Now, the bodies of 28 other hostages are still in Palestine and are expected to be released over the next several days. Now, the survivors' 2-year nightmare is finally ending following, all the stuff that's been going on over there. So, again, I don't know enough to tell you how to feel or think about this, but I think it's great that these families have been reunited. And it's not something that every family that's been involved in this can say. So I am very glad that these people get to go home and get to survive and get the help and support to actually survive this trauma. And, so I'm just saying that's my thoughts on the whole thing. There are bajillions of other channels that will give you their hot takes, but that's not this show. So hopefully they can start the long process of, getting back to real life and dealing with this trauma. Now, Diane Keaton has passed away. I thought that this was a bit of a joke yesterday, not that, but I wanted to actually make sure because I was maybe not in the best headspace yesterday to make sure that this wasn't a internet kind of thing and this was actually backed up by, the AP or someone. That being said, when you go to your local vape shop and Rasta says he makes his own vapes, remember that Rasta is like a veteran person of the Cheech and Chong lifestyle. Because Mo didn't remember that. And Mo was up at 3 a.m. yesterday wishing that Dairy Queen's was open because she really wanted a blizzard. That being said, that is your general life advice, which is why I don't give life advice about the Middle East, because that's my life advice I learned. And then, we are going to have a story time because I have someone to call out who is me. All right, why is it that, really relaxed and no pain Mo decided to be an absolute snitch this weekend? So apparently honest Mo comes out when I'm not in pain and not, using sarcasm to cover that. So she starts spilling stuff to Mr. Mo. Like, okay, you need to make sure I do this, this, and this, because I will tell you that I will look into this, this, and this, but I actually won't. So you need to hold me to it. I was like, Heifer, you did not come to me to ask me if I wanted you to tell him that I wasn't going to do stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, what else? And this heifer starts telling him like all the truths. We need to have a serious intervention. I am not allowed to be honest with my husband about things that scare me. It's not like big stuff. I'm not like cheating or anything. It's more like, okay, when I say I'm going to do this, I will put it off to the nth degree because I'm scared about it. So I need you there supporting me. So apparently Honest Mo came out and didn't even get a blizzard for it. But there you go. I was so irritated because I'm like, dang, I just told him all the vault secrets of an inside cat. Like, I'll definitely tell you that I'll call someone, but I'm going to put it off for days and days and see if it can be, done with a text. She was giving out all the inside cat secrets. I was just not. And Alice G. Hayall had major surgery on Friday morning. All is well. All the tubes and wires disconnected. And you're going home tomorrow. That is great. No pain whatsoever. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. And I'm so thankful. That is great. I know you were a little... I figured it was surgery, Alice G. I know you were a little nervous, so I get it. I totally get that. And I'm glad that you're doing better. And happy Canadian Thanksgiving to Canadians. Unless it's, have Alberta and has Alberta become American yet? I don't know anymore. I try to keep up with all the news, and I'm afraid that this weekend it all kind of amalgamated into a weird. That's why I had to check with the Diane Keaton thing. That being said, that was a long way to say I had to double check that unfortunately we have lost Diane Keaton. Now, I know that she starred in Annie Hall, but I want to say that my favorite Diane Keaton movie had to be Baby Boom. It's a funny 80s movie. It is all the 80s. But rest in peace. That was a funny movie, and my mom and I always watched it together. Well, everything Diane Keaton revealed about her health before her death, including both cancer and bulimia. Well, Diane Keaton faced multiple health battles before her tragic death at the age of 79. Keaton, whose cause of death has yet to be confirmed, previously opened up about struggling with both cancer and an eating disorder. At the age of 21, the Father of the Bride actress was diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma, a form of skin cancer. It's a family history, she told the Los Angeles Times in 2015. I remember my Auntie Martha had skin cancer so bad they had to remove her nose, and my father had basal skin cancer, and so did my brother. It's tricky with this skin cancer. That's why you've got to put sunblock on. Keaton also admitted she didn't take care of her skin when she was younger. back in my 20s, I didn't really pay attention much. I didn't research and didn't care. And that was stupid because it's dogged me my entire life. Even recently, I didn't start sun care until my 40s. After the basal cell carcinoma, Keaton was diagnosed with squamous cell cancer later on. She underwent 2 surgeries for her secondary skin cancer diagnosis. She also struggled with an eating disorder that she revealed on Dr. Oz in 2014 after being asked to lose 10 pounds for a Broadway role when she was younger. All I did was feed my hunger, so I'm an addict, Keaton shared. It's true, I'm an addict and I'm in recovery, but I'll always be an addict, and I have an addictive nature to me. My typical dinner was a bucket of chicken, several orders of fries with blue cheese and ketchup, a couple of TV dinners, a quart of soda, pounds of candy, a whole cake, and 3 banana cream pies. And then she would, eliminate that food from her body. Now, the mother of 2 added that someone mentioned that I seemed to have some mental issues, so I went to analysis and I would go 5 days a week. In 2017, in an interview with People, Keaton said that her decision to lose weight, which led to her bulimia, was caused by an overabundant need for more. I lost a lot of weight and continued to keep off that weight for more than a year, but I became a master at hiding all of this. And as someone who struggled with, whatever we're supposed to call it now, what is it, unhealthy food relationships, or I don't know. I do have a very unhealthy relationship with food, and I'm going to have it my entire life. Doesn't mean I have to get into those. Doesn't mean I have to let the scale, take over my entire life. But I do know this about me. That's why I don't weigh myself at home. I just, go by how my clothes are fitting. So you can, still have these tendencies, but know what your triggers are and avoid them so you practice better health things. And fingers crossed, I asked all of my daughters a while back if they had any sort of unhealthy relationship with food because I didn't want to pass that on. And they all said, no, we're healthy. We're happy with our bodies. I mean, in as much as a teenage girl can be happy with her body. But we don't have, I don't ever feel like a food is, bad for me or I don't deserve to eat. So, yay for at least getting one of the generational things out of there. And I'm sad for Diane Keaton that she had to deal with that too. But she always seemed like a really fun lady. And I hope that she's gone peacefully, to be among family that have already gone on. And all her struggles from this life are over. And I hope that her family left behind, her children, are getting the support they need. I guess if you want to, honor Diane Keaton today, I would say go watch Baby Boom. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's sweet. And it's all about applesauce and baby food. So, why not? It's a good movie you can watch with your kids and you don't have to explain nudity or anything. But that's kind of where I was going with that. Now, I didn't put this in its own section, but I believe that sometimes things happen and, I'm not going to cry that much. Lost Prophets singer Ian Watkins passed away at 48 after being attacked in prison. Now, he was a UK singer, I guess, and had been sent to jail for being a gross, disgusting child grossness type of guy. Lost Prophet singer Ian Watkins was found dead after being attacked in jail on Saturday, according to the BBC. He was 48 years old. Now, Watkins had been sentenced to 29 years in prison at HMP Wakefield after he was convicted for multiple SA and exploitation offenses, including heinous crimes against children, babies, and animals. Now, the West Yorkshire Police confirmed the 48-year-old singer's death after being called to the prison on Saturday morning about an assaulted prisoner and finding Watkins. Now, he was pronounced on the scene. Now, BBC reported that Watkins was attacked by or with a knife by another inmate. Now, while the exact details and motivations behind the attacks have yet to be revealed, a prison service spokesperson said that a police investigation is currently underway. Now, that being said, it's pretty much everyone's assumption right now, though it hasn't been specified yet, is because in prison there is a sort of general zeitgeist that people that hurt children do not end up doing very well, especially when it's child grossness stuff. So that's kind of the presumptive assumption, even though there is still an ongoing report and or investigation, and we might find that it's not even linked to that. But that's kind of, I mean, I'm not going to be ignorant here. I may have pigtails in, but I'm not going to be ignorant that that is the general kind of thought of every casual observer, that this man was gross to babies and apparently puppies for some flippin' flapjack reason, and people don't like that grossness. People don't like predators like that. Now, it was previously reported by Rolling Stone that the musician was attacked at the jail in August 2023 by 3 other prisoners, and that incident had left him with several neck injuries that required him to seek medical attention. Now, also according to Rolling Stones, Watkins was first arrested in September 2012 after police officers had seized a bunch of his electronic devices and storage devices after a drug warrant at his home in Pontypridd, a town in Wales. Now, I probably didn't say that correctly because Welsh it's a beautiful language to hear, but I have no idea how to pronounce it. And I haven't done like the Duolingo lingual on Welsh. Now, he was imprisoned in December 2013 after he admitted to the attempted SA of a minor along with other child grossness offenses. He was a rock star in his early 20s. He founded the Welsh rock band The Lost Prophets in the 2000s. Their most popular hits included Lost Train Home and Rooftops. I don't think I've ever heard of him, but yeah, I mean, sometimes if you're a bad person, bad things happen. And when you go to a jail, well, people don't like people that touch children. You're gonna, things happen. It looks like, and then next are kind of some big stories that have happened over the weekend. Unfortunately, big stories are generally not the happy stories. 2 people are dead after a plane crashed into an 18-wheeler in a fiery explosion. Now, I did see this. It looks like this happened So 2 people were killed after a plane crashed near a Texas airfield and collided with an 18-wheeler and multiple trailers before bursting into flames on Sunday afternoon. Now, the plane crashed nose first before sliding onto the pavement at high speed. It collided with an 18-wheeler and several tractor trailers, which sent the aircraft vertical as it burst into flame. The thick plumes of smoke rising from the wreckage were visible from miles away, and one witness told the outlet that they heard a loud boom, and a affected customer rushed inside asking them to call the police. Now, Lauren Anderson, who also saw the crash, described a 100-foot giant black cloud of smoke that dissipated soon after authorities responded. Honestly, it just kind of looks like nothing even happened. It's like a weird feeling knowing that something did. Anderson told the New York Times of the kind of swift cleanup after this. Now, the fiery crash took place in Tarrant County near Hicks Airfield, the Fort Worth Fire Department said. Now, the airfield sits between Fort Worth Alliance Airport and Fort Worth Meacham Airport. It's also west of Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Now, the 2 victims have not been identified, and it's unclear if anyone else was actually injured due to this. The fire has been contained. Now, the FAA is leading the investigation. A day earlier, a helicopter crashed into a low row of palm trees near the edge of California's Huntington Beach during preparations for an automobile and aircraft showcase. Now, in that particular circumstance, 5 people were hospitalized for injuries they sustained in the crash, including a child. Now, Eric Nixon, a renowned aerial stuntman, was confirmed to be the pilot aboard the chopper. Nixon sustained some broken ribs, crushed vertebrae, and even several bruises, is what his father-in-law told the outlets about that one. So just be careful around air shows. It's not my jam, but a lot of my husband's family loves air shows, and just be careful around those. Now, this did happen on Friday, but I wanted to wait until we maybe had a little bit more of an understanding about what went on, or at least the information that's been given out thus far. A community near the site of a deadly Tennessee plant explosion has mourned the 16 people who lost their lives. Local congregants gathered Sunday to grieve the 16 people that were killed during a catastrophic explosion at a rural Tennessee munitions plant. Now, the services were dedicated to the victims and family, many of whom were part of a tight-knit community surrounding the Accurate Energetic Systems plant, a major local employer and military contractor specializing in explosives. There's a somber kind of vibe right now in the community just because it's so many lives that have been affected by it, said Pastor Jim Andrews at the Maple Valley Baptist Church in Nunley. It's family and friends just trying to hold each other up during this most difficult time. Now, churches across the nearby towns, including one attended by Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, held similar services and vigils on Sunday as the region continued to reel from Friday's blast. The losses are staggering, Lee told reporters outside of Compassion Church in Waverly after surveying the explosion damage by helicopter. Now, the cause of the explosion, which leveled the plant in McEwen, a wooded area between the Tennessee River and Nashville, are still under, investigation. We don't know. I can't say the word chopper like Arnold, but I wish I could. I need to get one of those buttony things. That's what I'm going to be saving up for, is one of those soundboardy dealy dads, and the ability to use them. It's always a little iffy. I'm like, I'd love to get this technological thing. And Mr. Mo is like, do you know how to use it? I'm like, not so much. I wish I did. I wish I had all the technical things, because I have things in my head that I could edit that would be hilarious, but I don't have the skills. Now, authorities are still looking through wreckage of the destroyed facility, which was reduced to pretty much scorched metal and burnt out vehicles. Now, all 16 individuals who were missing have confirmed to have lost their lives. Now, the identities of those people, though, have not been released to the general public or the media. Now, officials said initially that 19 people were feared missing and possibly dead. The blast was so enormous that it was felt over 20 miles away. Now, investigators are working through the debris, and officials warn the public that controlled explosions might have to take place to dispose of any hazardous material that is still at the site. Now, extraordinary precautions are in place to prevent further injuries or damage. The community around the area is safe, but you may hear some noise and see some smoke. Many residents are now dealing with the emotional fallout of the deadly explosion. Brandon Blake, a 42-year-old churchgoer at Maple Valley Baptist, said that many in the area were leaning on their church families to make it through. It's a tragic time, but we're going to pull through this. The city of McEwen lowered its flags to half-staff on Saturday, and a candlelight visual was also slated for Sunday evening to honor the victims. We will continue to play a support role for those affected in any way possible, as there are friends, neighbors, and citizens of our community, said the mayor, Brad Ratchford. Now, during his Sunday sermon, Andrews urged his congregation to care for one another in the days ahead. So, I really do hope that the family members are getting the support, reaching out to people and asking for help. It's hard to ask for help sometimes when you're the one that always helps, but hopefully they're receiving help and getting the support they need. And we can get some answers, because I can't imagine. Now, this was a big thing as well this weekend. A shooting at a packed South Carolina bar took the lives of 4 people and injured at least 20 others. A mass shooting early Sunday at a crowded bar on an idyllic island considered to be the largest in the Gullah community on the South Carolina coast has left 4 people dead and at least 20 injured. A large crowd at Willie's Bar and Grill on St. Helena Island happened, and deputies arrived finding many people with gunshot wounds. Now it is estimated that at least 5,000 or more of the Gullah people are living on the island and can trace their ancestry back to enslaved West Africans who once worked the rice plantations. Excuse me. Okay, this actually wasn't the story I thought I brought up, but this is a tragedy as well. And all I'm remembering, if you're a kid of the 90s, Gullah Gullah Island, it was on Nickelodeon. And I actually learned a little bit about this. But yes, I don't know a whole lot about it. Like, again, I think I was 11 years old, so I didn't dig deeply into the history or the culture, but I do remember watching the show. Now, the bar owner, Will Terrell, was inside the establishment, which was packed for a high school alumni event, when he heard gunshots going off and burst outside. He described the scene as both screaming, panic, and fear. Now, the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office said in a statement on X that many people ran into nearby businesses to seek shelter from the gunfire. It's tragic and difficult incident for everyone, the statement said. We ask for your patience as we continue to investigate this incident. Our thoughts are with the victims and their loved ones. Now, among the injured, 4 were critical and at hospitals Sunday afternoon. Now, the victims, both those in critical condition and those that were injured, have not been released to the media or public. Now, Terrell said the bar was hosting an event for the alumni of Battery Creek High School in Beaufort, about 10 miles or 16 kilometers northwest of St. Helena Island. And he said people were just having a good time when the shots started ringing out. It was really scary from the inside, he said, with people not knowing exactly what was going on outside, people just trying to get to safety. Now, Willie's Bar and Grill advertises itself as serving authentic Gullah-inspired cuisine and describes itself on its website as not just a restaurant, but a community pillar committed to giving back, especially to our youth. So this will be one that I'm sure we are going to be hearing more about. Hopefully they find the person who wanted to break up this, high school reunion thing. And this is ridiculous. Whatever problem you have with people or the world, you don't get to take it out on other people. You don't get to make people feel unsafe and do this. This is ridiculous. Oh, wait, where was I going with this one after it? Well, I mean, as if this would not be like, duh. Ben Stiller insists his hit comedies, both Tropic Thunder and Zoolander, wouldn't be made today because of changing attitudes towards jokes and, offensive jokes. I would like to say duh and add that Blazing Saddles wouldn't be made. Thank you, Adult Pretender, for stating the obvious. Ben Stiller admits that he has doubts that several of his popular comedy films from the 2000s would be able to be made today. The actor 59 said that changes in attitudes towards more problematic or funny jokes, like those that littered his biggest hits, have created landmines everywhere. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the people who complain that words are violence are complaining that they can't be funny anymore because words are now, hurty things that can get you in trouble in the UK. In the news that makes you want to say, duh, where have you been living for a couple years? It's like Adult Pretender just realizes that he would no longer be able to have a, career. Well, I don't know if she's the civil rights leader we need, but she's the civil rights leader that 2025 deserves. A woman has broken her silence. Power to the breadsticks. Thank you so much. After a viral post labeled her Olive Garden waitress, labels her Olive Garden waitress using breadsticks for revenge on diners. Yeah, let's see what her big civil rights, her big, victim story is. A Texas student is opening up about her worst nightmare becoming reality after a phony social media post claiming she worked as an Olive Garden waitress and was arrested after throwing breadsticks at a customer went viral. A dramatic stories of a 26-year-old Olive Garden waitress in St. Louis, Missouri, who supposedly hurled a basket of breadsticks at a couple after they stiffed her on a tip and yelled out, quote, "Unlimited breadsticks doesn't mean unlimited free labor," recently took off on social media. And while it makes for an incredible story, I mean, not really, but it does sound like something you believe would happen in this day and age. You know, it's what makes for an incredible story. None of it is real except for the teary-eyed mugshot of a young blonde woman that was shared alongside it. Now, Megan Ashley Davids, a student from College Station, Texas, said the backlash she's received over the fake story, featuring her very real mugshot, is ruining her life. Perhaps if you didn't have a mugshot, you would have been not implicated in this. Just throwing that out there as a friend. It's probably like my worst nightmare come to life, Davison told Cron. People are making very inappropriate comments or AI-generated thing with my mugshot. So your big struggle in life is that you look too pretty in your mugshot and people are creating weird stories about you? My heart bleeds. The Facebook account called Pure Videos created the fake post and shared it with its 1.7 million followers. Most of the page's posts are a work of fiction, according to Chiron. It appeared that the post featuring Davis's mugshot has been taken down and made private as of Sunday. Now, while the post didn't include Davis's name, the fake story took place, hundreds of miles away. People were able to track her down and harass her online. People out there are disgusting and it's scary. Now, her mugshot stems from a night out drinking in August where she was arrested for public intoxication. She's currently a college student who works and a few days before her arrest, her mother passed away. Okay, yes, but then have them do a cease and desist. But what are you going to do? People on the internet are a-holes. It just is what it is. I mean, there's a reason I've taken down my Facebook. There's a reason I don't post my kids on here. There's a reason why I generally try to use middle, child, youngest, most feral son, because there are weirdos on the internet. And I realize that. And I'm sorry that your mugshot looked really pretty. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And I'm sorry that your mother passed away. But what do you want us collectively to do about it? I mean, most people who read those stories know they're not true. And if you are an idiot asshat who is, reaching out to people from dumb Reddit drama, you need way more than a mental acuity test. You need a personality acuity test. Do not reach out to people on the internet. Do not reach out to people on Reddit. I don't know. So there you go. Now the post has been fact-checked on X, not on Facebook, but apparently her mugshot is out there. So if you see this woman's mugshot, she did not throw breadsticks at anyone. She was in fact drunk in public. That being said, it's the internet. I'm sure there are things out there about me. I just don't, take care of that. And honestly, who goes to Facebook anymore? Are we in oh wait, I didn't pull this. Wait a minute. We are in the end times. This is not a joke. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Let me do the intro though, because we've got a lot of what in the Walmart rapture stories to go through today, including this.
The G-Keep scrolls, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Well, this is it. I'm pretty sure this was in Revelation somewhere. I don't know the, chapter or verse. But Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau are in fact dating. Canoodling on a yacht. It's when you wish that the Kraken would appear. Anywho, I'm sure Nancy Grace is under there somewhere. The sea witch will come out and hurt the Little Mermaid. It's not a huge story to me, honestly. I don't know either Katy Perry or Justin Trudeau, so it doesn't really bother me if they get together. But I do think that they'll have the dumbest kid with pretty okay hair. So I would pay to see that. That being said, Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau have just made their rumored romance official as the pair were spotted getting very handsy aboard the singer's yacht. Prayers and thoughts to the paparazzi who had to take this. Ooh. And again, happy Thanksgiving, Canada. I hope you're having fun. That makes me want pecan pie a whole lot right now. I don't know if pecan pie is a big thing for Canadian Thanksgiving, but it's like the one thing I look forward to. I like that JKD Buck. So there you go. I'm not even going to really lean on this story, but ugh. Yeah, apparently that's them just canoodling all over the place. I I don't know who to feel worse for, Orlando Bloom or humanity. I'm going with humanity. Yeah, I don't care. If they want to date each other, have fun, date each other. I don't care. Just leave me alone. Now, ladies, just because the guy who plays Ed Gein on Netflix is attractive does not mean that you should be falling in love with Ed Gein. Why? Ladies, women, why is it when I speak up for us and I say, like, maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic about wanting to repeal the 19th Amendment, then I get headlines like this where, heifers, crazy heifers on the internet are falling in love with Ed Gein because the guy on Netflix is cute. Make it make sense, women. I'm trying to keep, I'm trying to tell all, them that we're like lightly crazy but good. Sex ed is in season for true crime obsessed chicks. Hot and homicidal. That's apparently the dating criteria for 20-somethings with hybristophilia, a sexual attraction to criminals like serial killers and body snatchers. No, they're attracted because this guy looks attractive. Real Ed Gein looked like this guy. I'm telling you, no and no. Why? Oh, Tammy, I am so sorry. And I'm glad you had Tammy CA to talk you through it. That's what life is all about, is having those people that can just sit with us and when we're going through hell and be our little candles or our lights. So I'm glad that that worked out for you. I just don't even know what to say. No, no. This is bad. We don't want to fall in love with Ed Gein. Stop this. Stop. No, this is not good. Now, Gein was infamously named the Butcher of Plainfield for slaughtering and, well, basically he did take the life of 2 women, but he also then grave robbed and did the world's most macabre craft projects. Now, this kind of hit a bit of a shining light as Netflix, the monster, the Ed Gein story, is starring Hollywood heartthrob Charlie Hunnam as Gein. But instead of, noticing that this is really gross and not so great kind of behavior, apparently a lot of Gen Zers and true crime fanatics are showering the villain with both sympathy and lust. Stop it. Me finding Ed Gein attractive is crazy work, tweeted one fawning fan. Ed seems sweet as F, said a separate equally smitten with, Ed Gein, as you do. Pretty much. Look, Volstorm, I make no excuses for us anymore. It's wild how dedicated Ryan Murphy is to turning the grossest weirdo murderers into the hot man you've ever seen. I couldn't keep my eyes away, another Geen groupie admitted in a TikTok caption. I actually felt bad for the real guy. Now, the viral vid that's featuring scenes from the Netflix thriller, is underscored by Daddy's Home lyrics. What is wrong with people? You don't look, this is like watching Silence of the Lambs and thinking, that Wild Bill wasn't so bad. And he looked really good during All the Pretty Horses. No, no, women, stop this. Although I say this, and look, I'm a Mads Mikkelsen gal, so Hannibal was maybe not the movie or not the show I should be watching when I'm railing at people. But I like Hannibal because he's smart and he, well, takes care of rude people. To be fair, I'm not making a really good argument on this one. That being said, I also don't post TikToks of myself. I just don't. Saying I'm in love with, Hannibal Lecter, because the Hannibal Lecter from the books was a short man with 6 fingers and like magenta eyes. So no, I think Mads Mikkelsen is hot. That being said, I do like the plot points that required him to be shirtless. Bring back Hannibal is my final choice with this. However, doesn't mean I like Ted Bundy. Again, can we all agree that Ted freaking Bundy had a unibrow and was not attractive? For the last time, I will not hear, I am pulling a Megan. I am pulling a Megan. I will not hear that Ted Bundy is cute. He was not cute. He was a weirdo that had a unibrow. This is wrong. I will not take this shenanigan anymore. That is it. Glad that everyone's got to see my meltdown, because why? Why do I have to be the one that defends this? I don't care. If you took someone's life, you are no longer attractive to me. I don't care if you have really good, facial symmetry. Although I would like to put a thing out here, because Youngest Most Feral has eyes like this with really long, pretty eyelashes. And they are wasted on Youngest Most Feral. I mean, I have to pay to get eyelashes, and he's over here like flutter, flutter. And anywho, no, if he's done a felony, maybe not for me. Let's repeat it again, class. If he's done a felony, he may not be for me. Don't know why I have to say this out loud, but some people just, well, now, here's the Monday morning story that we all needed. The history of Hooters. 5 facts that you likely never knew about the restaurant chain. I mean, if you can start the Monday off with, Hooters facts, how can Monday go wrong? Hooters makes you happy was a lyric to the jingle from a series of 1990s television commercials about the Florida-founded restaurant chain. Is one of the memorable catchphrases that are shared by once loyal Hooter patrons during an era when the brand was appealing to single men and families alike. Yeah, because nothing says family like going to get hot wings with your kids and boobs. Now, amid bankruptcy proceedings, the founding group, along with other franchisees, have announced a plan earlier this year to reclaim control of the brand, which is Hooters Inc. CEO Neil Kiefler. There you go. Now, let's see. Number 1, the name is a play on words. You don't say. During a game of Parcheesi, 6 semi-intellectual Clearwater businessmen developed a sudden urge for buffalo-style chicken wings, according to the website for Hooters Incorporated. Well, there you go. Knowing they couldn't agree on anything as a group, the Hooters 6, as they became known, decided to embark on a major undertaking and open a place in Clearwater where other people of their caliber could gather and quench their thirst for the finer things in life. But what would they call it? Simply, what else brings a gleam to a man's eye everywhere else besides beer and chicken wings and occasionally winning a football game season? Hence the name Hooters. I didn't really think it was that deep. Still don't think it's that deep. Now, it opened its flagship location in October 1983. The name is Double Entendre. You don't say. Referring to both slang term for women's boobs, giving birth to the breastaurant concept, the logo an owl known for its hooting calls. Hence the mascot's name being Hootie. Before young Hooters waitresses were widely welcomed into homes as bikini centerfolds in the annual Hooters calendar, they found fame on late night television. The first Hooters girl to hit the small screen in 1987 introduced hosting a late night movie of the week called Hooters Night Owl Theater. You've got to be kidding me. The 80s was great. Bring back the 80s. Lynn Austin, the original Hooters calendar girl, also appeared as July 1986 Playboy Playmate and was the debut host. It was a syndicated show, later renamed Hooters Movie of the Week, and that's not a typo. Now it was syndicated through 13 major markets and became a hit with viewers for its comedy sketches and political skewers that bookended the movies and aired between commercial breaks. It ranked number one in its time slot, according to Hooters. Now, the show eventually moved to the afternoon before being yanked in. We probably shouldn't use the word yank and Hooters together, but you're New York Post, you do what you want. I'll make the jokes. It was a tough, twisted to the side, hope you had lube, in 1995. It was a victim of a legal skirmish between Hooters of America and Hooters Incorporated. Apparently, there's two Hooters as they come in pairs. Now, Hooters tried giving TV another shot in 2001 with Who Wants to Date a Hooters Girl? The reality show I didn't know we always needed. A half-hour dating show that was to pit six guys against each other who all wanted a night out with a Hooters waitress. Now, Broadcasting and Cable magazine reported that comedian George Gray was set to host Who Wants to Date a Hooters Girl? There you go. But the show never aired. Hooters is more than a restaurant chain. There was also a football team. Please tell me they were the Hooter. In the 1990s, the Miami Hooters was the name of an old area arena football league in Florida. Under a market agreement with the restaurant chain, the team played as the Hooters. From 1993 to 1995, after a paltry 11-26 record over these 3 seasons, the sponsorship was terminated and the team relocated to West Palm Beach, taking on the new identity of the Florida Bobcats, not the Florida Hooters. Let's see, Hooters reached for the sky. Hooters girls soared at 30,000 feet in the early 2000s. The restaurant chain was flying high as Hooter branded airline launched in 2003. Now, Hooters Air, through a partnership with Pace Airlines, operated a Boeing fleet that flew to 15 U.S. destinations under a flat fare model of $129 each way. The airline was founded by Robert Brooks, who was a chairperson of Hooters of America, and acquired Pace Airlines in 2002. Now, 2 Hooters girls rode along each trip, according to Forbes, mostly as in-flight entertainment since they weren't certified as life attendants. Now, a perk for customers was a complimentary meal for any flight with a duration of more than an hour. However, Hooters Air did not stay in the air for long and shut down in 2006. Now, Hooters also had its own hotel and casino in Las Vegas. Hooters Casino Hotel opened up in 2006 across from MGM Grand off the Las Vegas Strip and had 696 rooms. Okie dokie. 9 restaurants and bars. Now, the Hooters girls worked as front-of-house staff and on casino floors, as well as waitresses, bartenders, cocktail servers, and dealers. Now, the property was branded as the Oiho Hotel and Casino in 2019. There you go. I did not know that Hooters had a... This is their casino? It looks like a Waffle House had a baby with a motel. This is... What in the name of... Cocaine is a hell of a drug, children. The early 90s are weird. Well, my husband is very upset. We have not seen the movie yet, but he does want to still see it. But according to reviews from Disparu to actual mainstream media, it looks like Tron Ares is not doing too great. Tron Ares movie review from Morbin Time to Tron in Time for Jared Leto. I'll get this out of the way. I enjoyed it. What?
Gabriel.
We have one kid home for fall break, so I couldn't hear what Mr. Mo was saying. Now, it does look like a really colorful film, I will say, but Jared Leto at no point is shirtless, and I feel like that's a really big thing with the plot. That being said, for me, it is something we are going to go watch, and I'm probably going to be reviewing this because, good Lord, I mean, y'all, if I have to watch this movie, I am going to be reviewing it, so I at least get to write off the movie as as a tax write-off. Yeah, I've heard if you like pretty colors, it's good. If you think about the plot, it will hurt your soul. So, but it's not looking too great for the Disney movies. So, there you go. I will say I will probably be watching it this weekend or this week because I do things for Mr. Mo and I don't make him watch my true crime stuff. I should be the best wife ever. To be honest with you, I feel like I am. And good morning, Sandy Dad. I mean, to be fair, I'll have fun. I am going to be laughing my boobs off at how hilariously bad it is. That being said, watch Baby Boom today because Diane Keaton passed away, and that was my favorite movie of her, or any of the Father of the Brides. I'm still with Steve Martin on the whole 8 hot dog pack and 12 buns. I think that's a ripoff. I think we should all fight together. That being said, we have one story that didn't quite fit in the name and shame, but definitely deserves to be brought up. I refuse to stand by. A man accused of taking the life of his daughter's alleged child grossness, person, is running for sheriff because the system failed. And I say, where do I sign? But I don't live in Arkansas. An Arkansas man is accused of taking the law into his own hands by taking the life of his daughter's alleged rapist, but is now trying to become the chief of police in the county. And I'm okay with this. Again, where do I sign? Even though his case remains ongoing. Now, Aaron Spencer, 37, stands accused of second-degree red rum in the October 2024 death of 67-year-old Michael Fossler in Lonoke County, Arkansas. Now, as his legal battle plays out, he's decided to start a new chapter as a campaign for Lonoke County Sheriff. Again, I'm fine with this. Hello, Lonoke. My name is Aaron Spencer, he said in a video announcing his candidacy. Many of you know my story. I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. Now, the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office said that the shooting unfolded on October 8th, 2024, as deputies were initially responding to a home on Highway 236. English, my only language, and yet I can't do it. Now, they were initially responding to that home following a report of a missing child that afternoon. A short time later, investigators learned that Aaron Spencer had allegedly shot and taken the life of Fossler during a confrontation after Spencer found his daughter in a vehicle with Fossler. Now, Spencer is a farmer and military veteran that is out on bond as the case goes through the legal process. He said that the justice system had failed him. I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures, he said. This campaign is about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need. Now, it's unclear whether Spencer officially filed paperwork for his candidacy. Now, Spencer's wife started a Gift Send Go campaign and revealed that the couple's then 13-year-old daughter, several months prior, had allegedly been targeted, groomed, and ultimately assaulted by a boyfriend of a family friend, Fossler, after he got the child's number. Now, Fossler faced pending felony charges and reportedly was on a no-contact order, but he nevertheless contacted the minor victim when he was out on bond. We let the justice system do its job. The monster who hurt our child was quickly charged but released on a $50,000 bond. He was waiting in court in December for several felonies in relation to what he did to our child. She called her husband a hero. Now, Heather Spencer said the arrest was outrageous. She had made the call to 911 to report their daughter missing after they woke up to a sound of the girl's dog barking. This was unusual and caused us to check on her. In that moment, we lived every parent's biggest fear as we realized our teen child was missing. We frantically searched our home and property and started calling friends, family, and 911. My husband immediately got into his truck to go blindly search for our child. Now, Heather said that her husband managed to find Fossler driving our road with our minor child inside his vehicle. As soon as the predator knew my husband was behind him, he ran. The chase ended in an accident. Aaron was able to retrieve our child alive, but in the process he was attacked and did what he had to do to protect himself and our minor child. Now he is facing an outrageous charge for murder. I have no doubt that our child would not have come home if my husband hadn't found her. Now, in a follow-up, 2 days after the shooting, Sheriff John Stately called the case a tragic situation and said that his thoughts and prayers were with all those involved. Now, Stately noted that it will be up to the Lonoke County Prosecuting Attorney's Office to decide whether or not to actually file these charges against Spencer. Now, in separate remarks to USA Today, Stanley said that Spencer's arrest does not mean that the sheriff's office is backing a child grossness, purveyor. We are in consultation with the prosecuting attorney about what to do as this is a preliminary stage, Stanley reported. All my deputies and investigators knew at the time, or all they knew at the time was there was a deceased man and a 14-year-old in his truck with him and his dad saying, "Hey, I stopped him for this." I mean, again, I don't see anything wrong with this. If I were in Arkansas, I'd vote for him. That being said, this is not a generally political channel, but this is news. It is a case that's still going forward. And at this point, yep. All right, but now for the naming and shaming, because we do have some that just have absolutely no excuse for their bad acts, and we name and shame and let you guys know whose trials you might see in the next near future, or whose trials just got decided because, well, you've been adjudicated.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop lordship from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Trippy's coming and he don't play games.
Well, a school therapist tried to poison her ex-husband after placing a tracking device on his car. I actually like the red in this picture, but yeah, no, don't do this. A North Carolina school therapist has been charged with attempted murder and stalking for allegedly trying to poison an ex she said had been obsessively tracking and harassing her. So she was stalking and harassing her ex, who was allegedly... So it was stalker versus stalker, like spy versus spy. This is what happens when the hearts divorce. Sherry Gates, 43, was taken into custody on Friday and charged in connection with allegedly targeting her estranged husband, according to an arrest warrant prepared by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Now, Gates was accused of contaminating food and drink in order to render one mentally incapacitated or physically helpless, a felony. I'm glad they specify. So if I'm just mildly tired, is it a misdemeanor? If I'm like just vaguely dizzy, is it like a pass? I guess. She had been contaminating his food, though it's unclear what chemical exactly she tried to use to kill her former spouse. You'd think you should know that. Now, Gates' arrest warrant outlines what led to her stalking charge. Now, the defendant unlawfully and willfully did without legal purpose on more than one occasion harass her ex by placing a tracking device on his vehicle. The defendant knew or should have known that this was harassment and that the course of conduct would cause a reasonable person to fear for their safety or the safety of their immediate family. Yeah, these are Manson lamps. That's a no. Now, police officials announced the charges in a press release, which identified Gates as an employee of the Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. The WSOC and other local outlets reported that she's a pediatric therapist. That explains a lot. On Friday, October 10th, detectives with the Domestic Violence Unit located and arrested Gates. This incident occurred off school property and did not involve any student or teacher. Now, in total, she's facing 4 charges: attempted murder, contaminating food or drink to render someone mentally or physically incapacitated or helpless, stalking, and property damage. Gates is accused of breaking a window that police describe as the property of her ex. This woman's cray-cray. Now, she is still in jail, and CMPD are actively investigating this, so there might be more charges added to this. That being said, don't go crazy. If your ex doesn't want you, find another person. I'm sure that's fine. Now, what in the hell is this headline, y'all? Repulsive doesn't even begin to cover it. A judge upbraids a man who contaminated a steak restaurant's food with piddle and rubbing his feet and genitals on it. Well, I'm never going out to eat again. I'm glad I now don't even have to diet anymore because I'm done. You know, if any of you have put on the COVID, 50 like I did, this article is our Diet Monday motivation. A Kansas man will spend over a decade. No, in Mo's world, this is straight to Snake Island. Behind bars after adulterating the food at a steak restaurant where he formerly worked. Now in July, Jace Christian Hansen, 22, pled guilty to all 33 charges against him. Now those charges stemmed from the defendant himself posting graphic videos of some of the incidents. Oh God, is this on his OnlyFeeds or OnlyFans? Ugh. Ugh. The charges included 22 counts of criminal threat, 1 count of criminal damage, and 10 counts of child grossness. This mugshot, I believe it. Child grossness? Yep. On Thursday, Hansen was sentenced by a judge in Johnson County to 136 or just over 11 years in state prison. Now, the defendant was originally charged in June 2024, according to Kansas City, Missouri local outlets. At the time, authorities said they received a tip that he posted videos showing himself piddling on food, also rubbing food on his schmecular region, while on the clock at Hereford House Restaurant in Leawood, a medium city and part of Kansas City metro area. Now, an FBI special agent later produced thumbnail images posted by a user with the handle Vandalizer, according to court documents obtained by Kansas City, Missouri. Ugh. In those thumbnails, it showed a man piddling in bins and pressing food against his twig and berries, backside, and feet. When questioned, the defendant readily admitted to the crimes, describing instances in which he piddled in the au jus sauce and pickle jars and pressed his penile region to pieces of salmon. As you do, it's a normal Tuesday. What are you doing? Well, I'm, rubbing the schmeckle with a salmon. In some, he estimated that he had done that in up to some 20 times. Now, not shockingly, due to, that's the stuff he does in his fun thing, the investigation also turned up, child grossness and messages penned by the defendant about his desire to, perpetrate some child grossness as well. One of the messages reportedly reads, "I really want this life, honestly. It's the only thing I live for. Working so I can hopefully do as much damage as I can. Some Snake Eye, center of the sun for this man." It was the most brutal, violent child grossness material I had ever seen. Linwood Police Detective Jack Bond testified in a hearing earlier this year. Now, the judge remarked negatively upon the defendant's behavior during this week's sentencing hearing, calling him a future danger. "You will come back out to the community," 10th Judicial District Judge Thomas Kelly Ryan said, addressing Hansen directly, and said, "That's concerning." Now, the judge also waived a binder containing the evidence used in the case in in the air in order to highlight the severity of the crimes. To use the term repulsive doesn't begin to cover it, Ryan said. Now, Hereford House is a woman-owned local chain of steakhouse that served the two-state metro area since 1957. In the aftermath of the man's arrest, multiple lawsuits were filed against the restaurant, leading to the closure of the Leawood location. He single-handedly caused this location to close, Johnson County Assistant District Attorney Xavier Andrews said in a hearing. Now, the defendant, for his part, offered contrition during his allocution, apologizing to Hereford House patrons, co-workers, and his family. I would take it all back if I could. I mean, at what point in your life did you not think, while you were rubbing salmon on your man bits, did you not think this is a bad choice? Because you could have taken it back right then. Yeah, I don't see this man having a good time in Gen Pop. I'm just throwing that out there. And we'll end on, well, the most Florida man of Florida headlines. Completely nude, a naked Florida man was chased Walmart employees and then fled into the woods. Yes, as always happens. A Florida man was recently arrested for harassing employees at the big box retailer while in the nude. Rakimi Tiandre Johnson, 30, stands accused of 1 count each of exposure of sexual organs and resisting officer without violence, according to the Columbia County court records. Now, the underlying incident occurred during the early morning hours on Wednesday at a Walmart across U.S. Highway 90 in Lake City. And that's a small town located around 60 miles due west of Jacksonville. On October 8th, around 2:45 a.m., officers were called about a suspicious person acting erratically in the parking lot. And no one said, hey, also his twig and dangler, his twig and berries are out. His bait and tackle are out. Because that would be the first thing I would have said. I'd be like, hello, he's naked. What's your emergency? Well, this guy's naked in the parking lot. I just figured y'all should know. See something, say something. I see 3 things. That being said, this is why I'm not a cop, or even counted as an adult half the time. Now, the responding officers learned that the man, described only as completely nude, had been chasing employees in the parking lot before fleeing into a wooded area north of the store. Officers canvassed the area and located a man on his hands and knees in the wooded area. That's how you get poison oak in bad places. Don't do that. Don't do that. The subject appeared agitated and paranoid. Officers attempted to communicate with him. However, he remained largely nonverbal and incoherent. After trying to make contact with the defendant and out of concern for his safety, officers contacted paramedics and put Johnson in hand restraints for his own protection. Now, the defendant was taken out of the woods to a patrol car and transported to emergency medical services for evaluation. Now, at the hospital, Johnson was initially unable to provide identifying information, but later pronounced his name as Raheem. After several unsuccessful attempts to verify his identity, the subject was medically cleared for transport to the Columbia County Detention Facility. Once at the detention facility, the fingerprint scan revealed his identity. Now, there is not any, response as to additional details. Law and Crime did reach out. The defendant was described as homeless by police and has applied for indigent status, and he is currently, going to be arraigned on October 14th. So there you go. Which, who wouldn't? Now, just because I really wanted a blizzard, I brought this up. Dairy Queen blizzard helped end an armed standoff in Washington state. And, I'd give up for a blizzard. I'd actually go outside and be among people for a blizzard because I refuse to pay Grubhub. The unmatched potency of a Dairy Queen blizzard was seen again this week when the frozen delicacy helped end an armed standoff between Washington police and an arson suspect. Now, according to investigators, Elijah Reagan, 40, set fire Sunday night to his Pullman apartment using a mortar to shoot a firework into the ceiling. as you do. I mean, with a face like that, who'd believe he would play with fireworks inside? Now, as detailed in court records, Reagan's estranged wife told cops that he called her to say, "I bombed my apartment," and that bad people were after him. Now seen at the right, Reagan, who was smoking a little bit of the crystal, led police on a high-speed chase before his 2012 Kia Sedona was disabled by a spike strip. Now he had a long-form force multiplier, bottle rockets, fire logs, and lighter fluid in his vehicle. Thus began an armed standoff. Police began to arrange Reagan to surrender, and his blizzard demand emerged in those negotiations. Police said Mr. Reagan requested a meal from Dairy Queen as a condition to surrender. Now, cops purchased a blizzard and hamburger from Dairy Queen and brought the food to the scene on U.S. Highway 195. The chow was delivered to Reagan's car with a tactical robot. 4 hours after the fire started, Reagan, whose auto had been boxed in by armored vehicles, surrendered. He was booked into jail on felony arson and eluding charges. He's being held on $250,000, bond. And Pullman police and court records do not identify what flavor the blizzard was. That's the stuff I needed to know. I needed to know if it was cookie dough or if he's like a psychopath and got marshmallow. These are things I need to know. I don't care what he did. I wanted to know what his blizzard was because it's Halloween. I need to know if he got the pumpkin pie one. Come on. These are the things I need to know. Well, it looks like MTV has officially and completely died. I know we're shocked, but they haven't showed a daggone music video in like a decade, so I don't know. Now, there were a time when 3 letters defined cool, MTV. If you grew up anywhere between the 80s and the 2000s, MTV wasn't just television, it was a lifestyle. And it kind of was. I mean, MTV was kind of where I got real into Daria and, kind of started wondering why Real World was, a thing. I kind of didn't understand why we were all so wrapped up into these normal people who are living in this awesome apartment. But it was, a big thing. But now, after more than 40 years of rewiring global pop culture, MTV is beginning to power down some of its most iconic music channels around the world. And for millions of fans, it feels like saying goodbye to an old friend. No, they stopped playing music videos at least 18 years ago. Like, bye, sorry. Like, after Carson Daly became, 46, this is not a new thing. So there you go. Looks like MTV is going to be off the air. Now, there are music channels in the UK that they're going to go be gone by December 31st, 2025. And those are MTV Music, MTV 80s, 90s, MTV Live, and Club MTV. So those are all going out. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to be a full global closure, but it does look like they are going to be ratcheting down their minuscule use of music. So there you go. I'm sure we'll still be able to see how people from New Jersey live and whether Flavor Flav will ever find love. But as for music, they're not going to have it. So there you go. Now, I have to say no. Now, Mr. Mo's like, we should go out and do more stuff. And I say no because of these things. Experts are issuing warnings after radar has been picking up huge swarms of bugs that are spreading across U.S. No, thank you. No. Now, officials are detecting a huge swarms of bugs that are spreading across the East Coast. And it is causing a bit of worry because they're wondering what they're going to be doing to crops. In September, a huge swarm of spotted lanternflies was picked up by a weather radar. It was so big it resembled a mid-Atlantic weather event front, even though no rain was forecasted for the area. Now, the insects, which are native to China, Vietnam, and other Southeastern Asian countries, are highly invasive and cause a lot of damage to crops. Now, they were cited in large numbers across Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia. Now, according to meteorologist Matthew Capici, the radar showed a swarm of spotted lanternflies and not weather. So it looked like rain despite clear skies, but images showed spiky, jagged shapes and as the swarm moved with the wind. Now, the newspaper explained that the bugs were moving southward, but were also being blown to the east a bit, which was demonstrated when the swarm would move on its own accord, but also get blown off course. While unusual, similar insect or animal swarms have appeared on radar before, including cicadas in Washington, D.C. in 2021 and butterflies in Oklahoma 2019. Now, Maryland's Department of Natural Resources urged people not to spray the bugs with harmful chemical, but to consider buying or making circle traps to ensnare them. Circle traps? Now, spotted lanternflies are an invasive species that can cause a lot of damage to crops and native plants, and they feed on a large range of plants, including grapevines, hops, stone fruit trees, hardware trees, and can cause further damage. So, yeah, maybe we should spray them. I don't know. What's the circle thing? Now, according to the Department of Agriculture, lanternflies are found in 19 states and the District of Columbia. So, I guess be on the lookout for bugs. I mean, if there's a bug swarm that's big enough to be seen as a weather front, I say we DET the hell out of it. I'm kind of okay with that. Don't eat the bugs. I will not. Well, Indiana isn't for gold diggers, but we still will try to poison you with high fructose corn syrup. Dating for dough. Apparently, Florida and Nevada have the most gold diggers. So if you are looking for love, apparently Indiana is not the place to find your next, really high-paying sugar daddy. They're dating for dough. Florida and Nevada's are on top of a list of states where residents are more likely to marry for money, a new study revealed. Now, the Sunshine and Silver states both earned a gold digger score of 8.24 out of 10. Texas trailed close behind with a score of 8.23, followed by California with 8.07 and New York with 8.04. I literally could have named the 5 states if I had compiled my own list, the matchmaker and dating coach Blaine Anderson told the Post. Florida and Nevada are stereotyped as having more transactional dating cultures, especially in Miami and Las Vegas. I've had multiple clients in both of those cities tell me that they've previously met women who mentioned something like, "I'm looking for a man who will cover rent," on first dates. Yeah, I don't want someone paying for my bills. That's icky. Because then I'd feel icky when I use the money. So no, I want to pay my own bills. That being said, now the divorce coaching app Split Up looks at factors such as concentration of millionaires and billionaires, average annual income, hourly wage, cost of living in each state, and compiled the data. Now, dating app behaviors, online searches for the phrases such as sugar daddy or sugar mama or sugar baby or marry rich were also tallied. The bottom 5 states, which are less likely to be populated with gold diggers, are Maine, Wyoming. Well, Wyoming's likely to be less populated by anyone. I mean, that's not really a contest. Not Montana, Nebraska, and Vermont. But there you go. I mean, who'd have thunk it that the places that are, more transactional and more focused and more metropolitan are going to be like gold digger states? Who'd have thunk it? Me. So we do have a little bit of time, so kind of touching base. So I have, coming up here soon, I will be starting Mo in the Craft End. I will be showing you, we're going to start with cross stitch, but then I'll be going into, coming up, we'll probably be having, where is it? This is a good look. Anywho, I have another one of the egg molds that I used to make the, scary, ridiculous Hank Brennan puppet. So I will be making the Goldilocks, Kahunti puppet too. But I'll give you guys where I go for my cross stitch stuff and how you set up a kit, how from opening up the package to separating the threads and things like that to getting it on a frame. So that video will be up this week, kind of giving you those ideas. I do plan on doing cross stitch and garment making too, but that's in the future when I have my own room, my own crafty room. So right now that's getting ready to go up, and then I should be putting up since I have to get to 30 hours of watch time on that channel, I'll probably start doing live streams and crafting stuff over there when I've got that going. And let's see. And then that is all, but I did want to tell you that the craft channel is actually coming together. I do plan to be putting out a video to kind of help you with getting that set up, especially if you're new to cross stitch. I just like it because it's easy for me to sit and kind of give you the ideas of what you need and what you don't need. So that's kind of what I'll be doing there. And then coming up with daily videos where I kind of do a voiceover and just ramble. That's what I'll be doing. I am heading over to Megan's. I'll be sending you guys over to Megan's. We're going to be continuing the Tim's case. And remember, you guys, because YouTube forgets to remind me anymore, and I'm supposed to remember, but lurkers unite.
Snark loves a lurker. We see you all the same. Lurkers unite. You're the silent light. Watching in shadows, but still in the fight. No chat, no shame. You still boost the game. Snark loves a lurker. We see you all the same.
Yes, apparently YouTube has decided that lurkers don't matter, but I think you matter. And I believe you do, and I can't find Megan's stream to save my life today. So I do know that Donna Adelson is getting sentenced, so I will send you guys over to Baker. Now that isn't until the afternoon, but give him a like and subscribe if you haven't hung out with him. He is a fun guy, and hope you guys had a great weekend. I mostly just got my display case set up, and this will probably be changing a little bit. Here, because I've got to fill all of the, there's 2 more shelves above that, so I've got to fill that, and I've got all of my junk and all of my notebooks. Mr. Mo is like, your space looks so messy. You've got way too many notebooks. And I'm like, but they're all mine. I love notebooks. He's not a fan of the gajillion notebooks. I have a fetish. It's a notebook fetish. It is what it is. But that's what it is. And then tonight I'll be on with Shizzy. We'll be still going through the Twin Flames universe and all the documents with those cases going on, as we know, because the Michigan AG has started to investigate our favorite cray-cray, urban messiah and his crazy wife. That being said, if you want to find your twin flame, I have no idea how to help you. But I also don't wear blue lipstick. So there you go. I will see you guys in a little bit. I know Megan is shooting to start out at 10:30 today. So I will be doing that. I'll probably be working on my intro video until then. But thank you guys so much for joining me and hanging out and learning your headlines, true crime, and all the absurd with me. And I will see you guys in a little bit. Bye, you guys.